Here is the stomach, and underneath the stomach there is the transverse colon, and here is the greater omentum. After retracting this greater omentum along with the transverse colon, we see that there are the coils of small intestine. Though name is small intestine, but it is not small in length. And here we see the small intestine in very close view. Here we can see that the small intestine retracted, and this small intestine is attached to the posterior abdominal wall through a fold of peritoneum. This fold is known as the mesentery. This is the mesentery. If we cut this intestine from the mesentery, we can see like this. Here is the cut end of the mesentery, and it is attached with the posterior abdominal wall, and this is the cut end of the mesentery. This is the peritoneal fold that hold the small intestine. Here is the cross section through the abdomen. Here we see that this is the vertebral column, and this is the anterior abdominal wall. In between, this is the abdominal cavity. In this abdominal cavity, we can see this is the liver, this is the stomach, and here is the duodenum, and this is the small intestine. Here is the transverse colon. Here is the transverse colon, and all these small loops that is cut somewhere in the cross section, somewhere in the long section. All these are the small intestine, like the jejunum and ileum. And here we see that these folds of intestine is held through this peritoneal fold. Here we can see in very close up view, we can see that there is a fold of peritoneum that comes from here, and it finally covers this loop of the intestine. Very close view, if we take this loop of intestine, this loop of intestine is covered with a peritoneal covering. It is covered with a peritoneal covering, and this peritoneal covering is attached here. This is the double fold of the peritoneal covering, and finally it is attached in the posterior abdominal wall. And interesting thing that this peritoneal covering contains some blood vessels and some lymphatics. All the things seen here, and this is called the mesentery. This is the mesentery, and the folding of the mesentery is here. We have seen the fold of the mesentery here. Here is the mesentery, and here is the cut section of the mesentery. This mesentery, in very close up view, you can see this mesentery has the blood vessels and the lymphatics, and it is attached in the posterior abdominal wall. Here we see the attachment of the mesentery. The attachment of the mesentery, it starts in the at the level of the second lumbar vertebra up to the this is the left side of the body, this is the right side of the body, up to the right sacroiliac joint. Here is the second lumbar vertebra, and here is the sacroiliac joint, both sacroiliac joint. This is the left side of the body, and this is the right side of the body. From the left side of the second lumbar vertebra up to the right sacroiliac joint, this is the line of the attachment of the mesentery. In the line of the attachment of the mesentery, from here the second lumbar vertebra in the left side to the right sacroiliac joint, in the line of attachment, the mesentery crosses. Here will be the duodenum, third part of the duodenum, the aorta, the inferior vena cava, and here is the gonadal vessel. Here is the gonadal vessel of the right side, and here is the right ureter. This structure will be crossed by the attachment of the mesentery. And here we see again the attachment of the mesentery. Here is the third part of the duodenum, here is the abdominal aorta, here is the inferior vena cava, and here is the ureter. We can see this is the ureter, and sometimes there is the gonadal vessel. All things are crossed by the attachment of the root of the mesentery. So root, what is the root? In the mesentery we can name the borders. This is the border that is attached with the posterior abdominal wall, and this is border that is attached with the gut. So this attached border is known as the root, and this border that is attached with the gut, this is known as the free border. The length of this attached border or root is 15 centimeter, and the length of this free border is about 6 meters, and it is about 20 centimeter in its breadth. Here is the mesentery, and the mesentery contains this whole intestinal loop. So first content of this the mesentery is the small intestine, that means loop of jejunum and the loop of ileum, and the vessels that supply this loop of gut also lie within this the mesentery. And here we see the close-up view of the mesentery. Here this is the loop of intestine, and it is attached with the mesentery. It is the fold of the mesentery, and we see there is the blood vessels. Here is a vein, and here is an artery. These are the branch of superior mesenteric artery and vein. And there is some fat. Here we see some fats. Within the fat there are some nerves that control this gut, that is the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. And there is also some lymphatic vessels that lie within this the mesentery. So this is the mesentery.